I had a lot of money by the time I was 27 years old. Enough to buy a luxury car. I could afford designer clothes. I could party every weekend and never have to worry about money. Looking back, I can see that I had everything I ever wanted. And yet, I was unhappy. I felt like there was something missing. It sounds stupid now, but I thought if I just had more money, then I'd be happy. So I kept pushing, kept working harder, and I got even more money. When I made my first million, I didn't know what to do with myself. My life was supposed to be better. But instead of feeling on top of the world, I remember thinking, what now? What next? I wasn't prepared for success. No one taught me about taxes or long-term planning or the real cost of looking rich. But most importantly, no one taught me the true meaning of friendship or what it really means to be happy. When the money dried up, so did my so-called friends. They all disappeared. By 39, I was sleeping in my car. I was alone. I was forgotten. I was ashamed. I mean, what happened to the guy who used to throw $200 bills around like it was nothing? Where were all those people who loved me then? A few weeks later, I found an apartment and started over from scratch. But that feeling of loneliness and despair, it's still with me. Even today, I still feel it. You probably think this story is crazy, right? Well, it isn't. It happens all the time. People win the lottery or come into a sudden fortune and then lose it all. Or maybe you've been those rappers who flash their money in music videos only to go broke and end up back on the streets. We've seen stories like this before. So why are we so fascinated by them? If you understand human nature, you know that behind every great fortune there's a great crime. But our society has become so desensitized that we don't even flinch anymore when we hear about yet another billionaire who rigged the system or stole from the poor to get rich. As we become numb to the suffering of others, we're also becoming less empathetic and less compassionate. Most of us live our entire lives in blissful ignorance without ever knowing how truly evil our world is. We're taught to focus on superficial things like looks or money because it seems harmless. After all, what harm is there in wanting to look good or make a lot of money? In reality, these are the two things that ruin the most relationships and break the most families. Let me explain. The desire to look attractive is a very powerful motivator. People will do almost anything to look their best. This is why the fashion industry makes billions every year. Men will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on cosmetic surgery to look younger. Women will starve themselves to fit into the latest fashion trends. We obsess over our appearance and compare ourselves to others. This neediness is destroying our mental health. It's creating an entire new generation of narcissists. Now, some people may argue that looking good makes you feel good, but this isn't true. If you want proof, look at all the models. They're some of the most attractive people in the world, but they're also some of the most miserable. A study conducted by Harvard University found that beauty is actually linked to depression. In fact, studies have concluded that models have some of the highest rates of depression, eating disorders, substance abuse, and self-harm among any profession. Why? Because despite all the attention, all the praise, and all the admiration, models still feel inadequate. They're always comparing themselves to other beautiful people. There's never enough attention or approval. It's never enough to satisfy them. So what about money? If you ask any random person on the street, they would say money doesn't buy happiness, but they're wrong. Money can buy happiness, but only to a certain point. When your bank account is empty, you're desperate. You will do whatever it takes to get money. Your whole world revolves around making money. You dream about it when you sleep. Once you finally make some money, then your whole world changes. You no longer have to worry about paying your bills or putting food on the table. You can take your children out to eat. You can buy nice things for your spouse. You can finally catch a break. You're happier, but only for a while. Psychologists have discovered that after a certain income level, happiness actually decreases. We know this as the Easterlin paradox. As you make more money, you become happier, but once you reach a certain amount, it no longer makes a difference. In America, this threshold is around $75,000 per year. If you make $100,000 a year, you're not going to be any happier than someone who makes $80,000 a year. However, the problem with money is that we quickly adapt to it. If you suddenly became a millionaire overnight, you would feel amazing for about 2 days. Then you'd find ways to spend the money until you'd feel amazing again. But this cycle wouldn't last forever. Eventually, you'd return to normal, and being a millionaire would no longer make you special. The thrill would wear off. This is why 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt within a few years. Most of them blow all their money on useless things. They buy fast cars, mansions, and expensive jewelry. They throw huge parties. They buy luxury items that depreciate in value. They invest in dodgy businesses. They try to impress people they don't even like. But here's the crazy part. They don't even enjoy the things they bought. Sure, they might take the odd picture for Instagram, but most lottery winners regret what they did. They would trade all their wealth just to return to the life they had before. The sad truth is that we are slaves to our environment. If you grow up in a wealthy family, you have no idea how hard it is to work for money. You'll never know what it's like to be hungry or cold. Everything will be given to you on a silver platter. You'll be attending fancy parties, flying private, staying at 5-star resorts. Your life will be filled with pleasure. And although you'll experience some happiness, you'll never know true satisfaction. You'll never feel grateful for what you have because you'll always want more. You'll always feel like there's something missing. And this is the dark secret of wealth. The richer you get, the more you suffer. This is why it's crucial to learn financial literacy. You need to know how money works, not just how to make it. You need to understand the psychology of money, saving, investing, and giving. Without this knowledge, you're doomed to fail. You don't have to become a millionaire, but you should know how much you need to save, how much you need to invest, how much you should be giving away. There are 3 main reasons why people never learn financial literacy. 1, they don't want to admit that they don't know anything about money. It's easier to pretend than to learn from scratch. 2, they don't think it's important. They assume that money will always be there. It's just like gravity. It's always been there and it always will. 3, they don't know where to start. They're overwhelmed by all the options. They don't know which course to take or which book to read. The biggest mistake you can make in life is assuming you know it all. There's always something to learn. So embrace your ignorance and educate yourself. Learn everything you can about money. Study the habits of the richest people in the world. Educate yourself about investing. This will help you avoid scams and bad financial decisions. Above all, learn how to control your emotions. Avoid lifestyle inflation, live below your means, and save as much as possible. Follow these simple rules and you'll set yourself up for a bright future. Don't follow these rules and you'll end up homeless. But remember, it's not just about money. It's also about compassion and empathy. Try to understand the struggles of others. Be humble and helpful. Never forget where you came from. Because at the end of the day, it's not the money or the fame or the trophies that matter. It's the people around you. It's the love and support you have in your life. So don't chase superficial things. Instead, chase what truly matters. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.